Hi there, and welcome to the astrology forecast for this week. The crypto astrology forecast, where I focus on Bitcoin, will be on Tuesdays. But today, I'm going to just give you the overall of what's going on and some headline major events and things like that. Every Monday, I'll be doing that as I go into the astrology for the week. So we just had some massive moves in the silver market. This is a broken market, in case you haven't figured that out yet. Silver is broken. All the manipulation of it is essentially broken, which means that it has to go to some sort of real, actual value, which is much, much higher than it is right now. So we currently, on the open of Shanghai, of the Shanghai Metals Exchange, silver shot up $2 early. Yesterday evening, right? Last night, it shot up to $69, right? And then today, this morning, they managed to get it down about 50 cents. They're still trying all their paper manipulation on the silver market. But here's the thing. Would you put something on sale that you needed, that you didn't want to get rid of? Why would you make a fire sale on it? Why would you make it a bargain price? If you had, your last bit of food in your cupboard, would you lower the price? No, you wouldn't, because you need it. And that's basically what they're doing. This is why I see their manipulation games as being very dumb. Now, they worked as long as they were able to command the whole system and make it work their way, okay? But at this point in the game, they ought to just, be honest about it and be like, okay, the real price of silver, it's somewhere around, thousands of dollars. That's really what the actual value of silver is. But they can't do that because the entire Western civilization, all of the developed world, is based on cheap silver. The solar market, medical devices, every cell phone, every television, every device that you own, every car, they all have silver in them. So if the price shoots up, then what do we do with technology, right? Technology is going to have a much higher price to it. And that's why they're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and they cannot do anything. So silver is going up. Okay. And I've been saying this all last week that we could see $100 before the end of the year. Now, I'm not guaranteeing it, because we still have that's a $30 jump from where we are now. However, every week we're going up $10 right now, right? At least. And we're in an exponentially speeding up curve. So it's going to go faster and faster and faster on its way up. So we know those exponential curves. If you've been in crypto, if you've been a Bitcoin investor, as I have since 2016, you know what the exponential curve looks like and what it feels like. Hold on. But silver's different, because silver's not going to have a crash on the other side. It will have crashes along the way. Okay. There will be ups and downs as they try and manipulate the price, but it's not going to ever become unvaluable, because it's rare and it's necessary, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's reality. Okay, we live in a world that's fake reality out here on the internet, but the real reality is that stuff is needed. Okay, so that's what's going on with silver. And the next couple of days, like today and tomorrow, we are up against, astrologically, some pretty and serious hardship energy. Okay, and worldwide hardship energy. So these things can create worldwide events that are, it's essentially, as I just talked about with silver, affecting the entire global, situation, the global financial situation. And for most people, by the time they get the memo, it'll be way, 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 way too late. The time to have understood this and be doing things about it was years ago. When silver smashed down to $14, it actually went down to $12. And I told my members at the time on Patreon, it's going to go down to $14. And we all bought it at that price. Okay. I have proof. I have evidence. I have a post on my blog that shows the evidence of that. So, but let's look at what else is going on with the astrology. So, it's not, if you can get it now, this is still an opportunity, is all I'm saying about silver. But, at any price, it's a bargain, basically. But really, for the next 3 days, we're dealing with both hardships and golden opportunities for those of us who know how to seek them out. So the astrology tells me there are some golden opportunities. There's also some kind of family conflict and family opposition. I had a pretty crazy dream about that, and I'll release a separate video about it. But the short of it for now is, if there's something going on that you need to keep good for yourself, I would keep it quiet. I wouldn't be telling anybody, especially in the family for some weird reason. Hopefully you don't have ops in your family, but some of us do. Some of us can't talk to our family. So then don't talk to your family, right? So if you have opportunities coming, if you have things that are good for you and you know there's someone who might rain on your parade or create an obstacle or problem, or even just, the holidays and being around family and, the family member who can be difficult, they will be. So be aware of that for this holiday season. So I would just stay away from the people you might have some issues with, right? So be careful with that. For me, my family holiday thing is a very, very tight-knit, safe circle. And that's what I would recommend for all of you as well. Make sure you just have the people that love and support you around, because there can be real conflict as we move up to Christmas. Christmas Day, however, Venus enters Capricorn on Christmas Day, which is she's very serious there, and she loves status symbols. So it's a good day to give somebody, that sort of status symbol type of gift, I suppose, but it's also can be, that can mean Venus, can mean women can be the sort of the messengers of rules, hardship, difficulties, challenges. Okay. So, Venus in Capricorn is it's a bit harsh, a little hardworking. You don't want to work on Christmas Day, I hope, but also very, very intense, right? Very, very rigid and can be very strict. Tends to worry a lot. So be careful about those concerns. But we are also headed into some very, very compressing of energies in the world that are leading to very powerful events. So big events can be happening Christmas Eve, Christmas, as just the first few days of the week. As we're moving up to the holiday, there can be some very big events happening that can be critical and cause big problems. But there is one big, big thing I need to tell you guys about, which is the Epstein stuff. Okay, the Epstein stuff. There's more coming out. There's a lot more already come out, but there's more. And the big shabam, the big shabooey, the whole kabammy, this whole massive, just story breaking is going to just be fast and furious all the way into the new year. And we're going to be hearing a lot of other people who are involved. And these can be not necessarily the most famous people, some famous people, but more sort of low tier people, or even local people in your town, in your neighborhood. You're going to start to hear things that are going to affect people, maybe even you, maybe even people you know. So there's going to be a sort of cleanup that's going to start happening on the low levels of these kinds of creepos, okay? These kinds of sick, perverted individuals are going to start being cleaned up. And this is going to affect a lot of people, because it's not going to be like a celebrity. It's not like, oh, you're looking at the news and you're talking about a president. It's going to be on the local level. We're going to start to hear a lot of people getting, local news, local events, things that are going to be notable, okay? And that in another time, back in the days when I was growing up, it might have been all the talk of the town, right? Now you do have some, I guess on Facebook. I don't go to Facebook. I don't like it. But some of these platforms, you can have a lot of discussion about these things. And that's what's going to be happening. You're going to be hearing a lot of discussion on the local level, and then it's going to make its way up. And we're going to hear of more people on the more, just more state level or government level, or royal families and religious figures and all of that, layer by layer. These people are going to be outed, and it's going to get really, really ugly, because they have the real evidence. We haven't seen any real evidence. Just a discussion of beauty pageants is nothing, okay? It's nothing. The real stuff is coming, and it's going to be pretty, it's going to be devastating, okay? It's going to be really, really big, and it's really going to expose these people in a huge, huge way. Just a little heads up about us astrologically. Silver is the metal of the moon, whereas gold is the metal of the sun. So they have different energy frequencies. And so because silver is assigned or aligned or connected to lunar energy, the moon, it's also connected to the subconscious and hidden things and secrets and things that are going on in the dark. So as silver is breaking out, all the stuff in the dark is breaking out as well. This is just the nature of the frequency of silver. I mean, this has been known by, mystics for thousands of years about the alignment, the alliance between silver and the moon and the subconscious. So also that means that we're going to see some kind of, it's not just the subconscious. It's not just like secrets. That's part of it. It's also going to be craziness, people with mental illness or, emotional disturbances. So be prepared for people to act out in really like unhinged ways, very unbalanced, because the moon triggers things that haven't been dealt with, essentially. I mean, if you're a person who's dealt with all this stuff in the subconscious, it's not going to be a problem for you. But people who don't and won't cope with their stuff, whatever it might be, can behave in really weird ways. That's where you get a lot of people trying to control, repress, deny, like hide from the truth, all this kind of thing. So this is part of that chaotic and maybe difficult family dynamic energy that I was talking about happening as we lead into Christmas. And then after Christmas, there are again opportunities for those who know where to look for them, but also I'm seeing something happen with, there's something going to happen in the fame industry where there's like somebody who's like a big celebrity who's connected to the beauty industry is going to go down. They're going to have a big scandal associated with them, connected probably to the Epstein type stuff. There's also going to be new levels of fame, like people just rocketing to the forefront that you've never heard of before. So new people who are going to get a lot of sudden attention. And also I made a note in my astrology notes that there's something going on with metals, precious metals being tokenized behind the scenes, whether that's already happening or whether we just hear about it at that time or whether it starts happening at that time. Something is coming out about this. So there will be, and there has been, I think, tokenization of metals. And when we do already have some gold-backed cryptocurrencies like Pax Gold and XAIT, which is the Tether version of gold, those things are very significant, and I expect you might hear some news about them after Christmas, like between Christmas and New Year's, before the end of the month. So that's kind of the overview. But as we close out the week, move into the end of the month, into the weekend and into next week, likely some sort of fame scandal breaking out. And then next week, something very strange is going to happen with AI. So be aware of the digital world. Speaking of which, let me just give you one quick heads up about AI content on YouTube. Okay, there's a lot of it, and you will see these scammers who steal people's content of let's say a recognizable face, right? Let's say one of the big like silver names or whatever, some interview, and then they will put it out there with a voice, and then they'll break up the interview with sort of voice recaps of what's going on with silver. Now, I understand that it's can be useful for some people to get a recap on what's happening with the silver market or with whatever market you're looking at. But whenever I see those, I know those people have stolen the content from the creator because that's not the creator's content, right? If it was just an interview, it would just be the the interviewer and the interviewee. So I always just go to the three dots at the top at the right of YouTube. Every channel has it has the three dots next to it when you're looking at your feed. And I just say, don't recommend this channel again. Because I never, ever, ever, ever want to hear from any AI content. So if I personally see anything that I can tell is AI, I ban it from my feed permanently. If you want to know about the people involved in those videos and what they're saying, just search them up, and get the videos that are actually from them. That's my take on it, because there is a slow process of AIs working to replace everybody, not just me, not just these people get big traffic, but you too. It's coming for you. It's coming for all of us. So we need to do what we can right now to say, no, I'm not having it. That's just my take on it. That's my stand. Hopefully you agree with me. Let me know. Do you think it's okay that AI just replaces everybody and that you have some scammer like stealing someone's identity and trying to use it? I mean, you tell me what you think. I don't think that's okay, because let me tell you, it's not just the creators on YouTube that the AI bot, scammers are going after. They're going to go after everyone's job, even if AI can't do it very well. So That's it. That's what we're headed into early next year or towards the end of this year. And I will see you guys tomorrow with the Bitcoin update. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.